Sports is art for stupid people. The world versus art. Plato once wrote that the poets should be kicked out because they're dangerous and philosophy is better. Later philosophers, I'm not sure the names of the particular ones, one of them said, well, Socrates should have to kick himself out then because, well, Plato, same thing. Because if you read Plato, it's very artistically written. Others have said that philosophy began as art criticism. Socrates being kind of the beginning, Plato being the beginning of philosophy, says we got to kick the artists out. So the idea is that philosophers are jealous of art. They were jealous of art. They're like the little brother of art. A book I'm reading right now called The Insulted and Injured. The main character, by Dostoevsky, the main character talks about how nobody respects him for being a writer. And like one character says, well, you'll never be an official, but like meaning like in the service or like a diplomat, whatever the hell that means in the army. But I guess it's kind of fun, you know, it's cute that you're a writer. You'll never be a big deal, but you know, nobody will ever take you seriously. Now, Dostoevsky was revered by everybody from Nietzsche to Albert Einstein. I had a friend once who was a weightlifter and a bodybuilder and a martial artist and a bouncer, and he was once telling me how he'll always beat someone up if they tell off his girlfriend. And I'm like, well, I don't really care if they're rude to my girlfriend. You know, fighting is not my arena. That's not where I specialize. That's where you specialize. You know, my arena is maybe, you know, writing or music or something, and I'll kick somebody's ass there. But what would be the point of me trying to beat up somebody who specializes in fighting? But people don't take my arena seriously. And it's not just my arena. People have never taken art seriously. Tell somebody you're a poet and watch them laugh or roll their eyes or try not to repeat it to anybody. They'll try not to repeat it to anyone. In my past, I've worked countless jobs where they've said things like, oh, what, you can't take a little hard work, when I wasn't interested in carrying as much weight as they could, or I just didn't care, or I said that I was tired. The thing is, they take pride in that kind of thing because it's really their whole thing in life. I remember one guy, he said, you can't take it? What's wrong with you? And what I should have said, and not what I say now, is, well, can't you handle reading a book? Can you handle, listening to Bach? Can you handle studying, literature? You can't take that, though, can you? Because they can't take that. And that would shut them up right away. Can you read a book? How many books have you read? I mean, if you want to call me physically weak, I can call you an idiot. And, like, who wins? Who looks worse? The thing is, I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not that weak. But in the arena of having read literature, they're like 1 foot tall. And I mean, if you grow big biceps or drive a nice Ferrari in order to get women, that's kind of sad, because if only you had a big brain, if only you were willing to exercise that brain, you could get those women without having to get any of those, without having big biceps. There's a great line in the book Hannibal, which later became the movie Hannibal with Anthony Hopkins, where the Ray Liotta character goes, he's talking about Hannibal Lecter, and he goes, I always figured him for a queer. And Clarice goes, why would you say that? And he goes, well, because he's always looking at all that artsy-fartsy. He's always interested in all that artsy-fartsy crap. Or there's that movie Falling Down, where the Nazi punk goes, he's looking through Michael Douglas's possessions, and he finds a crystal, like what do they call it? Like a snow globe that he bought for his daughter. And he goes, what the fuck is this? Faggot shit! So on the subject of how people look down on art, well, this is the subject. Then we got Beyonce, who is like the lowest form of artist because she shakes her ass and wiggles her tits and sings songs that aren't written by her, and is produced by people who automatically just swarm us. Anyways, I am defenseless against people like Beyonce because I have to like deal with people playing her while they're driving their car down the street. I can't even walk down the street without it. So I can't help but be on the defense and, on the offense. When you're telling me I should be listening to this, I should be listening to hip hop, I should be listening to rock, all I can do is come back to you and say, no, that's shit. You should be listening to classical music, or you're an idiot. You're an idiot for listening to that crap. And then they say that I'm a hater, but if you weren't imposing your shit on me, I would leave you alone. I wouldn't give a shit if you want to listen to Beyonce. Just, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear it. And then the song gets in your head and you're hearing it all day long. Then you have businessmen, people who worship money, and you're only as good as the amount of money you have, which is the most soulless endeavor you could possibly have, and the most fruitless, the most depressing life that you're headed towards, and you don't even know it. And then they look down at you for not having money, because you're not going to have money, chances are, if you care about art. Getting back to athletes, sports, I have no problem with it. I like to play tennis. Sports fans are a different story. I mean, a fat guy sitting on a couch drinking a beer while he watches people who are in shape exercising, playing a game. That's the most pathetic thing ever. But in a way, so a real artist or a real art lover or a real art critic is between a rock and a hard place, because on one side you got the fake art and the fake artists like Kanye West, who are acting like they've got all the talent and they're a superstar and they're a great artist, going around talking about art all the time and making money for it. And then on the other hand, on the other side, you got athletes and businessmen and shit telling you that art is stupid and gay and it's useless and all that, right? And then we got doctors and lawyers and whatever else. That's pretty priests. I mean, people who are charity is the greatest thing. But then you find out most of them are corrupt. But that's okay. The really good ones, it's pretty impressive to be a doctor and want to help people. But on the other hand, the procedure for doing surgery has already been laid out for you. You just need to memorize it, and you'll be a great doctor. It's just memorization. The same with being a lawyer. So the actual skills required are a little more than memorization. And as Einstein once said, creativity is more important than knowledge. Okay, what he actually said was that imagination is more important than knowledge, I think. So if you're a doctor or a surgeon, it sounds good to be a brain surgeon because I guess it involves the brain, so you think anything connected to the brain must be intelligent. But no, brain surgery isn't brain surgery. Anyone with half a brain can do it. You could have brain damage and be a brain surgeon. If you're an athlete or you do construction, you're a man's man. Oh, did I mention? One time I did construction with somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, this drill is like such a good drill. Look what it does. Look how good it is. It's better than the average drill." And he kept going on, and he showed me the saw. This is a better saw than most saws because it's a professional saw. And I'm thinking, like, I don't give a shit. I care less. But he took real pride in it. And you know what? Good for him. But would he be, like, interested in hearing me say something about how, Bach is better than Mozart because, look at the way that he constructs his theme. So don't expect me to respect what you're doing if you don't respect what I'm doing. And furthermore, if you're going to put down what I'm doing, I'll put down what you're doing, and I'll probably do a better job than you will. But I don't need to do that. I just say, leave me alone, and I'll leave you alone. This shouldn't be if it's a contest, I win. Let's just not have a contest. Let's just live and let live. But if I were to go further, and I probably will at some point, I already am, I would say I only respect you. If you're an athlete or you do construction, you should admit that art is better, and then I respect you. If you're a pop artist, admit that real art is higher. Admit that, like Beyonce has to admit that she's not a real artist. And then I would respect her. I'd say, okay, so you're doing bullshit and you know it. If you're a businessman, admit that you're a worthless human being, and I'll at least respect that. If you support gays, click like. If you respect blacks, comment. If you think women are people too, click the notification bell. And if you care about sick children, subscribe. Stay tuned for my exciting next episode where I talk about my low opinions of Howard Stern and Kurt Cobain, and the torrid similarities between the two.